Hello, my friends. I think we are live now. It looks like that in my live streaming setup on this monitor over here. Let me just check that everything looks in order, and you are seeing the picture-in-picture and everything. All right, let me switch the screen. And welcome, everyone. I just realized, even though this is a dark cinematic music stream, I happen to wear a plain white t-shirt, but just imagine I'm a stormtrooper or something. Hello, Architect 503. Hello, David. Both of you had entries in the contest, I believe. And David, you were pretty close to the deadline there. And Phil Jones as well. Let's see. Okay, so I am actually in the forum right now, and I just realized too late that I should have added an actual poll so we can do this here in stream. I think I managed to get everyone in here right now, so we are just going to go through one by one these tracks and give feedback from what we hear, give some praise to each other. And I really want you guys in the chat to say something about your fellow composers' entries into this contest, because dark cinematic music, as all styles of music, doesn't have to be this way or that way. It's a range of colors concerning the actual style. Let's see. Yeah, Mike, you just you were pretty close to it as well, but you joined just 1 week or so ago, I believe. So, how did you enjoy this actual, like, this style of music? It's not super common, but I actually love this. You heard one of my compositions were in the intro of the live stream, and we got pretty good number of tracks this time, as you can see. And I have listened to some of them, but I'm of course going to listen more carefully now. And we got a pretty wide range from like this atmospheric dark music to even some trailerish type of tension thriller music as well. And that's why it will be really hard to actually give a vote on this. I'm actually going to in stream here add the, let me see if I can do this properly. Like, how do I add the poll? Or should I do it afterwards? I think it might be good if we could vote right in the stream as we listen, as we go through this. Let's see, how did I do this? Here, build poll. Multiple choice. I want you guys to pick 3. Didn't know about this contest. Yeah, it's in the Professional Composers Forum, forum.professionalcomposers.com. Are you a member? Pepinilos. I'm sorry about mispronouncing that. Let's see. We had... where are we? All of this. Outbreak on the Horizon. That was you, Phil, right? Seems very creative, but definitely learned a lot. Well, we are going to listen to your entry first, actually. So let's see what it is. But I'm sorry about this. I should have done this before stream, but hey. Sometimes we forgot things. The Sewer Maze, that sounds like a crypt atmospheric type track. We'll see. This will be a surprise to a lot of us. Yeah, go check it out. We have a new theme every month, a composer challenge. So, and anyone can enter. And then we have this live stream in the end and this voting in this poll to decide who wins. But again, everyone who makes music and completes a new track is a winner, in my opinion, because that's what it's all about, our passion to make music, right? So while I do this, what specific plugins and instruments were your focus when you made this entry? Anyone can write in the chat. So I loved using ambient drones and atmospheric textures, but I want to hear what you guys used as the main focal point, sound and instrument wise. I also love Omnisphere. It's like I go to Omnisphere for everything. Oops. Dark sky here. Let's see. So lots of entries this time. Black stars intro in one word. I'm not sure if that was a mistake. Or if it's supposed to be spelled that way. I think we got everything. So now I should be able to just, let's see, max 3. Minimum value must be smaller than maximum. What? Let's say 5. Then you will be able to vote, choose 3 to 5 options. I think I always forget this. Low strings and brass. Low brass can sound super powerful and evil, in my opinion, as one of my examples was in the competition as well. Always wanted to bang on a washing machine to make hits with. Did you do that? I actually used the washing machine to create a riser once. You know, when it goes into that super fast centrifuging, I think it's called. Ripping paper. That could be ripping stuff. I actually thought about doing like a sample set or sample pack where I do destruction, like ripping paper, rustling leaves, but also crunch type sounds, like if you take some cereals, put them on the floor and use a boot to crush them. Or you can do it if it is really cold outside when you go walk in snow, as you can at least here in Sweden. Let's see. I love the D50. The D50, well, I don't use hardware since I only use software since the last 10 years or so, but there are D50 sounds, I believe, in the new Omnisphere hardware library. Bless you too, Siddharth Ducate. Again, sorry if I mispronounce any names here. Let's see if I can manage to insert this poll. So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tracks to go through. Let me just make sure that we have that here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on Amok, 6, 7, 8, 9 on Electric Chair, 10, 11. All right, so save edit. And here we have them. Choose between 3 and 5 options. These are great ideas. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of sound design by not only doing synthesized sounds, but also recording various sounds, pitching and mangling them with time stretching and so on. But before we go deeper into that subject, let's listen to the first track of the day here, which is Outbreak on the Horizon, Endless in Between. I believe that was you, Phil Jones. And we're starting right now. Awesome. That was really great. I love the like interjection between the more modern beat style glitchy type beats, which was minimal except for, well, those high and hi-hats which had like break tweaker, what's it? Yeah, break tweaker, you say in the chat here. By the way, and the textures and pads were really amazing. What type of reverb did you use for those really ambient pads, Phil? And also that final thing you did there, I really loved. It sounded almost like coins being dropped. I'm sure it wasn't coins, but it sounded almost like coins being dropped in a a crypt somewhere just at the end. So if you explain that, that would be awesome as well. I really should get into Isotope. So that was the first Outbreak on the Horizon. I meant a absolute final cadence here where the atmosphere took hold of the track. Really, you had some kind of coin drop like sounds there. Yeah, Valhalla Shimmer. I haven't got Valhalla. Actually, when I are you in Logic? I actually use the chroma reverb still. I don't really have that super atmospheric reverb, so I just use a big cabin type presets in the Logic stock. Or I use, for real instruments, I mainly use what's it called, Spaces 2 by East West. But for this atmospheric sounds, I really want that high-end shimmery type. So, yeah, I should look into Valhalla Shimmer. All right, you can keep dropping comments about this track if you want to. But I'm going to go ahead and check out the next track by Ben here called Wrath. I'm also liking when we have these pictures because everyone has, a different thumbnail. I'm not sure. Why did you choose this picture, by the way, Phil? It doesn't seem so dark. Anyway, let's continue with Breath. All right, so that was Ben's track Wrath. Are you in the stream, Ben, by the way? If you are, introduce yourself. Because this is, I feel that you, Ben, are really on this trailer path, which many composers are today. Super nice track, super simple theme, yet effective. Because music doesn't have to be complex to have emotion and be effective for the style you're looking for. I think you really hit the points on the trailer side, especially with this big drop here. The ending had that classic piano ping stinger, and I especially loved the brass or low orchestral bends. I don't know. I just feel that bends, especially like the semitone bends in the low range on orchestral libraries, it just sounds so badass. It's awesome for this dark tension type music. You can get away with the pitch bend thing, but some libraries, if you have access to a real recorded bend, I think Forza has this, by the way, a brass library I love to use. If you have that, that will always sound better. All right, let's see what you say in the chat. Bends particularly effective, maybe because we just don't expect big massive sounds to bend, but when they do, it's very unsettling. I don't know. Might be, but I mean, a seminote bend is efficient. Like it's the half note or half step. I mean, brain freeze. I mean, that's the foundation for tension, in my opinion. That's what I say in my course over and over again. It's all about that half step, the chromatic scale. So if you bend a half step, it will always have that tension. Super nice sound there. So a completely different style of dark music. Let's continue with Mia Yechkova, the Sewer Maze. Mia, if you're in the live stream, please introduce yourself in the chat. Anyone that is part of the challenge. Let us hear what your track is about. Sounds, instruments, and so on. I'll be quiet now. right, so this started out as what I thought would be more of a trailerish track, then went more actually into, I said in the chat, Tron flavor, in that sense that you get this hope. We had some major chords in there, I believe, and also these arpeggio. They have this beautiful, hopeful character, which adds that energy of hope in darkness, if that makes sense, in my opinion. Just my opinion, guys. You can write whatever you want there, but that's what I got from listening to this. In the end, but it was a long section with those like more classic type arpeggios, which I felt a bit more hope, like a glimpse in the darkness. So that was the Sewer Maze. Perhaps someone felt he or she almost got out of the maze. That was the hope. And guys, remember to, when you listen, after you listen to this or watch this live stream, take a second listen if you want, and then go in and vote here. So you simply click in 3 to 5 options of all tracks in we're going to listen to here, and I will announce the winner sometime tomorrow, I think. Yeah, I really liked it. I mean, my track was Darkness of the Dark of Darkness, basically, that I had as an example for this contest. But every style of dark cinematic music is welcome. Let's see what's next. Crypt of the Undead, David's entry in the last final minute. Let's go. All right. That was David Olofsson and Crypt of the Undead. It started, if you listen to it like this pizzicato and what was it? Something else with a very light character. I got some like Danny Elfman feeling from this. Like, not in that it sounded like Danny, but having that lightness in the sounds used, but like the sounds are tricking you. They are tricksters. So the light is actually darkness, like evil. Like this twisted evil. Eerie. So, I mean, if you can get my feeling on this, it was a bit more like Danny Elfman compared to other tracks here. Like it's light, but it's like deceivingly light. At times it was real darkness there, but really interesting track. I wonder how you came up with the concept for it. I cannot really pinpoint where I would place this, to be honest, other than some eerie, creepy type of darkness in a soundtrack. So David, what did you use and why did you went in this direction? Write a comment there in the chat so we can learn something from you. And I'll leave you writing while we take a listen to the next track, which is Amok, or Amok 5, I believe. I forgot that 5 in the title here, but Right, so that was Amok. I think if I were you, I would not have faded it out like that. Where was it went? Oh, I don't know where it went. Oh, the embedded thing went away. But it really cool track. I love that evil, super saturated riff type synth. Also, I like that you did just after the drop, it took a different direction. So, and that is something you can think about as well, especially for cinema. All types of soundtrack music doesn't have to be, A B B A or whatever. You don't have to follow song structure at all. In fact, for tension music and dark music, it might even be better to do some kind of really unexpected twist in the story, because the audience doesn't think about that change, and when it happens, they are taken by surprise, and that sudden surprise can act as tension as well. Let's see, oh, so it was a piano. No, I didn't catch that, but it sounded really cool. And I especially like that you kept it. Oh no, I'm trying to mimic a distorted piano here. Well, while you had a very, very minimal, like super focused staccato type, like accented beat in the background. Hello, Luke Swinkles. Did you have a track as well in the contest? This was Amok by Theanian. Damn it. Words. They are so difficult. Why don't everyone just use numbers? Just kidding, guys. So that was not a trailer track. It was more on that action type darkness, cinematic dark music compared to atmospheric, of course. But I would still not classify it as pure trailer track. Let's see. Anxiety in F sharp. No major in dark music. Minor, of course. Mike, by the way, what was your creative vision for this track? If you want to share it in the chat as well. And apart from that distorted piano, what were the go-to sounds and effects you went for? I really want to hear what you guys had as like the creative vision behind the track. What was your thinking when you made the decisions for the sounds, harmonies, or whatever, the riff or anything? So write that in the chat and we'll continue with Anxiety in F sharp minor. All right, so that was Anxiety in F sharp minor. Let's see if we can see the waveform. More on the atmospheric sound. It started, but then it went into like this synthy pad stuff where not tension darkness, but actually, okay, so it's in minor, but I got more of like the hopeful vibe, like the emotional, can we get out of this maze in the darkness or whatever. Not as dark as the others, I have to be honest, except for two things. I think the glitchy percussion was the best thing in this track. I really want to know what you used for it, if you are in the chat. Who made this track? A Suitcase Packed with Music is the artist's name. I don't know who made it. So the glitchy percussive mix was amazing. And also, what was I thinking? Yeah, the groove. So did you pick up on the, the stab part, the marcato part of those synth pads were just before the hit of the percussion. So this created like this syncopation throughout the track, which also makes you feel uneasy in some way, because it do not feel that it's a perfect sync. And that is a tip for you guys. Use syncopation and groove to your advantage, because people love the strict 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. If something is out of that, it starts to add more and more tension. And another thing, that pedal chord that held out for a long time somewhere here in the end, something that is like held out and doesn't resolve. The more it's held out, the more we feel like, oh, come on, it got to resolve. Like vinyl is getting stuck with a needle or something in the groove. So that worked great as well. But of course, the percussion were the best thing. All right. I don't think you are in the chat here who made that track, but then let's continue to Fran Luke, Escape from Tartarus. All right, Escape from Tartarus. As I wrote in the chat at the same time here, it's really hard to remember everything you heard. What did you guys pick up? I felt that this was the most chaotic darkness, harmony-wise, of all entries so far, which might work in your favor. Sometimes you can overdo it, of course, but you know, those eerie flute intervals on top of those unexpected chord changes really made this track dark. It was a lot of focus was on the ambience, the atmosphere, which you could really hear because you had the rhythmic low brass, but it was way back in the mix, which were the case for most of the sounds, in fact, to give room more for the dark atmosphere. So this track went into the dark tension, ominous type of sound. It also has that classic, especially at the end, anytime you have this dark atmosphere, these dark ranges, effects and harmonies, and add something up in the range, which is like ping of a piano or glockenspiel, like this bell type sound, or anything like that, that has more of this light, childlike character, that makes us really, it sounds so creepy. It's like The Omen, if you guys have watched that movie. I don't remember if it used that thing, but if you have like it, a child should be innocent, but he's not, because he's the devil. So yeah, really cool sound design and atmosphere in that track overall, which was from Fran Luke. Were you in the chat? If you are, please write some comments about your track. Then we'll continue with Cosmosic Dark Portal now. Okay, Cosmosic Dark Portal. So I'm just gonna jump in and comment before I forget. I felt this was very ominous, haunting. It suited the track title "Dark Portal." Some like yours, some Celtic Stonehenge summoning the dark demons in that portal. The sound wise, it was very focused on the airy side, like the airy ambience. So human voice effects, woodwinds and fluty types of sounds, except when those choirs were like short marcato choirs that are like stabs when you least expect it, because they didn't have like a ran, dun, 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 da, 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 ran, nothing like that. Like you were not expecting where they like hit those stabs. Makes me feel like I'm playing Silent Hill. Actually, yeah, the atmosphere, especially those creaks and like the it sounds like you're in like a ship or something, or really creepy sounds. So yeah, really Silent Hill feeling. It has that haunting, light sounds, but in a creepy way. Really creepy atmosphere. I like this track. Were you in the chat here? Who made it? Where were we? Dark Portal, Cosmosic. If you are, please let us know and write something about that track. Let's continue with Electric Chair. Seems like it's a new user, doesn't have an artist name here. right, that was Electric Chair by someone. I cannot see the username here. If you are in the chat, please let us know. So this was very minimal, to be honest. It basically only had that main string line, and everything else, almost everything else, was like the dark textures, ambient effects, and so on. I have to be honest, the harmonies and stuff, like the composition wise, worked really great on the strings, but I didn't really like the sound of the strings themselves. So I don't know what library you used or how you programmed it, but it felt it could. I think if it were me who made this track, I would use some solo, perhaps cello or violin that has that, fragile sound. I think that would have benefited the overall mood of this track. The piano was excellent. I think I would have already changed really the string, since it was especially so, naked in the mix. But overall, really, it started really tension. It had an emotional part of the track for this part, and then I think it was a bit more tension in the end. Not super dark, but definitely it could be labeled as dark cinematic music. Let's continue with Klaus Ferretti, Dark Sky. Wow, Klaus, my friend, you went all in on chaos on this. I actually explained that chaos in any form, unexpected things and changes and surprises, really work well for dark music because it adds tension. but I believe this was the most chaotic track I've heard in quite a while. I feel like it's so much you cramped in there. It's hard to. I mean, I know for a fact that some soundtracks has so much chaos going on, harmonic twists, sound twists going back and forth. So it's really hard when you listen to one of these tracks stand alone. You really need a scene to put it to, like a chaotic, often it's like a jump cut scene where they cut the action like in Aliens movie and they cut from this scene back to the other guys who were in this room, where's their action, and then going back and stuff like that. But I really want to know, Klaus, what did you use for all of this? I mean, all the runs were amazing. All those, aleatoric effects, also clusters and stuff. I mean, the only thing I have for that is like thrill and native instruments, thrill, and then orchestral palette effects. What is it called? But I mean, that was like a crazy track. I loved it. And the ending, I don't know, it's like when you finally get to stab that alien, but you did it several times because he refuses to die or something like that. Really cool. Dark Sky. Klaus, are you still in the chat? Please give us some creative insights in what were your vision for this track, and for your choices, and any of the main sounds and instruments you used. And we'll go ahead and play the last track, which is Black Star's Intro, the final entry here. I Dial Library. By the way, was it like those brass repetitions? Was that articulations or programmed MIDI? And what A Dial Library, was that what you used for those aleatoric effects, or the clusters, orchestral effects, or was that something else? Black Star's Intro now. Right, that was Black Star's Intro. It cut off a bit, interrupted, like in the end there. I would actually, when I listened to this, it was a bit short, but it's still okay. I would actually have used that, that low drone and that dum 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 dum. I would have loved that in the beginning of the track, just personally. Let's see. Yeah, I would have introduced the bells a bit later, because it was almost all that bells versus the dark ambience in this track. So there's not much to say, because it was so short and it mainly focused on that. But anyway, that was every entry into the track. Let's update this and see if anyone has voted yet. Probably not, because you're actually watching the live stream. No, but prepare yourself. You're going to choose 3 to 5 options in this poll. You can take a listen again tomorrow or today if you wish. Klaus Ferretti, you've imagined fight and excited, the feel to die. It was really anxiety in that track and chaotic feeling. I mean, I have never used as much runs and, program repetition stabs and aleatoric effects in one track as you did. So I'm actually not going to show you guys what I vote on. We have one voter, Can I see who voted? I don't know. I actually like to have it like this, so you cannot see the result before you vote, because that might otherwise influence what you vote on. And I won't say what I will vote on, because that might influence you as well. Oops. What happened? What happened? Winner here. So just listen again to every track. Shall we just finish with some tips like on dark music? What did you go for? So of course the dark tension in the harmonies and chords is essential. Focused a lot on the half step, so the minor second, that is, or the tritone, or even the soft tension intervals, like for example the major seventh, and so on. And for sounds, I mean I go through all of this in my course on dark music, which you can find in the forum. But there's so much, and all these aleatoric effects, bends, risers, drops, and dark ambient sounds. You can do it yourself. You can record your voice. I actually recorded my voice for one of the examples for this contest, and then I pitched it down like 5 to 7 semitones, depending on different sections in the track, and time stretched a bit here and there, and just made those creepy breath and growly effects myself, which sounded really like monsters in the background. All right, so we have one vote, another vote. Let's keep this going, and I think we'll wrap it up there, because I don't really have anything more to say. I love listening to everyone's track, and again, everyone who enters is a winner in my opinion, because you get to make music. I would like to say that I will tomorrow close this poll and listen between. It's good fun to record stuff and playing with it. It is. I mean, sound design is satisfying. You get to create new sound worlds put together, putting distortion on everything. I mean, you can do so much just mangling with distortion. And you can even do automation on distortion. I like to use that as well sometimes, so it goes in and out. Auto panning, tremolos, other types of movement effects can work great for creating atmosphere as well. So I will close this poll tomorrow, so remember to vote as soon as possible. And then I will announce the next competition during December. So we will still have one. I know it's Christmas time coming, so if you want to join that one, make sure to make your track before the crazy Christmas time starts, because just after New Year's we will have a new live stream and listen to what you guys come up with for that. So have a nice evening in the case of your European like me, and have a nice day, good night, or whatever in other cases. And I'll see you soon again in another live stream. Bye, guys.